The second point I want to address is that in many explanations of Christian canon formation, there is an over-reliance on the notion of popularity. First, the very idea of text-based spread of Christianity was itself a point of debate in the earliest generations of the movement. Papias, bishop of Hierapolis in the first third of the 2nd century, is perhaps the best cited example. Slightly later Christian authors, like Irenaeus, who we read last week, or the 4th century bishop Eusebius of Caesarea, cite Papias as a good model. Papias's words are preserved in Eusebius's church history. He purportedly quotes him. Rather than respecting popular texts, he states that he only believed, quote, words of the elders. In fact, he was skeptical of written books in general, stating, "For I did not think that what was to be gotten from the books would profit me as much as what came from the living and abiding voice." That is, Papias, considered by later Christian figures as one of the most reliable sources, was considered so because of his distrust of books, and popular ones especially. Another way to trouble this emphasis on popularity as explanation for our canon comes from close consideration of the text known as the Shepherd of Hermas. Probably written in the mid-2nd century, its author is an anonymous man who had been enslaved but was set free by his enslaver in Rome. The text contains a mix of visions and rules, emphasizing the importance of morality for Christians. You will see that it's mentioned in some of the primary texts this week, and that is because it was one of the most popular books among early Christians. And yet, despite its popularity, it did not end up in the canon. Most scholars agree that the lack of a name for the author, and I would say perhaps his lower social status, ultimately led to the text's exclusion. Which brings me to the final problem with claiming that the most popular books made it: a return to the issue of literacy. In week 1, we discussed the markedly low literacy rates in the ancient world, roughly 10%, and that sometimes just meant being able to sign your name. Given this reality, we must ask, popular among whom? That is, a significant portion of Christians likely could not read and so did not have a significant say in which text they preferred read to them. Rather, an educated elite likely often curated the options available to the larger Christian community. Such a reality makes the popularity but ultimate exclusion of a text like Shepherd of Hermas even more problematic. So as you read the primary text for this week, keep in mind the social location of our authors.